Hi guys, Piotr here, this is LiteFinance Global YouTube channel, and it's my pleasure to be with you again. Today we are going to discuss the indices, with the Fed trying to weaken the dollar and make the stocks great again on one side. On the other side we have a technical recession in US, and earnings reports are not that great. So the next 6 months are gonna be very, very interesting. Alright, so let's have a look what we have from the medium and short-term perspective when it comes to the indices. We are going to start with the NASDAQ. The last analysis has been done quite some time ago, so it's worth to check what we have here, where we are, and what might be the next move. Guys, as usual, please do your own homework, please do your own research before risking real money. So we are within the downtrend, trying to fight with the top of the channel, more or less. I wouldn't say, some of you may call it as a bull flag. I wouldn't call, because of the steepness to the downside, I wouldn't call that as a super flaggish. I would rather be very, very careful, taking into the consideration where we are from the horizontal lines perspective, where are the possible supply, where are possible demand. So taking into the consideration on this weekly chart what we have here, we are currently testing the first possible and very important supply zone. So let's place first few lines over here. So we are talking about the levels close to blue line, because it's a weekly. So the first level is around 12,940, and it's being tested right here, right now. We are in the phase of taking the stops from the previous attack of that zone, all right? But as long as we are below, let's call it that way, if we are below 13,350, 400, we are just testing these levels, and we might see another attempt to go lower. If we are going to break higher, we have another possible supply much higher, because that's the level over here, and we are talking in that case about the 40,200. Again, just a reminder, we are talking about the weekly chart. When it comes to the possible demand, in that case, of course, the latest low might look like there was a quite good demand because of what we've seen previously around this level. But again, I do think that we didn't make the low yet. We didn't hit the bottom yet. Why? I think like this, because this consolidation, at least half of that, so there are stops a little bit below the latest low. All right, because that's the stops, that's the half of that consolidation, and I think it is a good chance to try to hit that one and reopen 10,660. But the final one, I would say, might be somewhere around 9,663, at least for now. So we have the levels of the possible demand. We do have levels of the possible supply. What else is very, very important? Let's have a look. Let's check the biggest correction over here. How high can we go? There you go. That's why the whole zone over here is so important, right? Because if we are going to take into the consideration the size of the possible correction, so we even didn't hit the biggest within that move to the downside. So still a chance to see stop count to the upside and rejection. So again, as I mentioned, while below 13,400, we are within the correction, and we might see lower levels from here. Of course, the summer holiday, the second month, it's not encouraged to the strong trading. Still the big money might be sidelines for a while ahead of the September. So that's the NASDAQ from the weekly chart perspective. Quickly, briefly, let's have a look what we have on the daily chart here, short-term perspective. As you can see, there was consolidation ahead of the downside break here, right? So we retest the bottom of that consolidation, also demand based on what we've seen previously. We made lower low. We are trying to retest that one. So for sure, we took out, if there was any stops, we took out these stops, all right? But half of that consolidation is where we were just day before. I'm not sure when you are going to watch this video, but well, it could be that one more and done, right? Especially based on the size of the correction we were discussing based on the weekly chart. From the daily chart perspective to the downside, all right, this level over here around 12,150 as a first possible demand based on what we have here, all right, and the next one cannot be ruled out that we are going to see some demand around 11,460. So that's how I see the things. Of course, you don't wanna, the thing is, you don't wanna trade against the Fed. That's what I've mentioned, that the Fed is trying to weaken the dollar and trying to make the stocks great again. But well, that's the trade based on the expectation that we've seen already the peak when it comes to the inflation, which might be, well, not that clear yet. So be very, very careful. Of course, do your own research and homework as usual. That's the supply zone, that's the first demand, that's the second demand. That's how I see the things. Of course, again, you don't want to trade against the Fed. The earnings report, there are two videos, separate videos, where I'm talking about the good earnings and bad earnings. Google, Alphabet, right? Microsoft, Amazon, and Apple. All right, so let's have a look what we have when it comes to the S&P. S&P 500, there you go. Well, nice move to the downside. Okay. Trying to break the line. Actually, we already broke that line based on the weekly chart, but retest cannot be ruled out, right? If something is broken, usually market is trying to ask if it's a real one, so it's cannot rule it out that on the weekly chart we are going to retest, and 3,840 is a level to watch here from the weekly chart perspective. So let's place that one over here. That's the weekly blue line. All right, so there you go. Another level of the possible demand is this untested consolidation, as well as this latest line of the weakness. And if you are going to watch carefully, the top of that weakness is almost exactly half of that consolidation. So I see 3,410 as a level of the real demand, and well, the same as with NASDAQ, I don't think we already seen the bottom when it comes to the indices. When it comes to the supply, we very similar to what we have on the NASDAQ. We are testing the strong supply level right here, right now on the S&P 500, and again we might try to do the same example with this corrections like this. There was a one here shorter, right? So we have exact size of the first correction, the bigger one right here, right now. So the market is trying to react. All right, let's talk about short-term chart. Let's switch to the daily. All right, and what we might have. So we are testing half of this consolidation from the daily chart. There is a size of the correction, mid of that consolidation. So all the signs showing the possible move back to the downside. What kind of the downside? Well, I would say that was the consolidation as well ahead of the upside break because of this weakness over here. So mid of that is around 3,850, and from the weekly chart 3,800. So that's the possible demand zone. So especially during this last few summer holiday days, we might see some kind of the consolidation. A little bit of the higher volatility with the lower volume could be the name of the game here for the S&P. So let's place few lines. That's from the daily, mid of that consolidation. All right, and well, there you go. With that being said, guys, as usual, do your own homework, do your own research when it comes to the NASDAQ and S&P. We are testing quite strong supply levels, but again, the Fed lately been trying to weaken the dollar and make stocks great again. If it's going to work out, I don't know. We have to check. Be careful, be patient, work with the levels. Wish you great next trading session. Thank you very much. Take care. Goodbye. Stay safe. See you around.